Hi, welcome back to another episode of Unique Moments featuring our lovely guest, where we take a moment to be, take a moment to breathe, connecting mind, body, and spirit, healing mind, body, and spirit. And for the card, I don't know where the card is for the life of me. I cannot find it, but it was a short one. It said, be known for your grace and kindness. And that's interesting. Funny enough. So Grace, she wrote a post about it on the blog, touchedbygrace.blog. And surprisingly, she didn't really tie it into her name. She spoke about something different. So please go check that out. That will be in the description. But it's a very simple message. Be known for your kindness and grace. And I feel it kind of talks about your character because it's like, okay, that's a virtuous thing. Be known for your kindness and grace. Be kind, treat everybody with respect, treat people how you want to be treated, the golden rule and all the things. But it's like if it was such like a duh, then people would be doing it. And I don't know that there's like many kind people. I mean, scratch that. I think that can be taken a lot of ways. Some people think that people who are nice or who are kind are foolish or dumb or stupid or they don't know the way that the world works. I feel like people think that about me a lot of the times because I'm such a nice person. Oh, you're so nice. You're too nice. First of all, there's a difference between being nice and kind. I think being nice, I think is a not a weaker like character trait, but it's like you don't have to be nice to everybody. Like you don't have to be pleasant with everybody. Let's say that because everybody doesn't deserve that, especially if you don't know people. Like, what did you do to deserve? What did you do for me to be nice to you? Kind of like respect. What did you do to gain my respect? Like, I don't have to be nice to you. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be rude to people, but you don't have to be nice to everybody. But being kind, that's a different thing. I think kindness goes hand in hand with grace because it's like you can be kind to people that don't deserve it. You can be kind because that feels good to do. Sometimes being nice feels fake, like, oh, I'm going to do that just to be nice. I was going to say hold the door open, but no, I think that's a kind gesture. I think they're kind of similar, but I think when you're being kind, it's literally out of the goodness of your heart. Like when you're being nice to someone, it's kind of like you're either doing it for something that you could get or something that they can give to you or there could be like hidden motives behind that. But I think kindness, treating someone with kindness, goes hand in hand with treating someone with respect. Like it's free to be kind, it doesn't cost anything, you don't get an ego boost for being kind. It's just the right thing to do. Like why would you not be kind to someone? Like we're all, I don't want to say struggling because some people are living life and it's glorious and it's wonderful and they're thriving. And I hope you're living life and it's glorious and it's wonderful and it's thriving. But there's something. We all have our things, whether it's something we're struggling with, whether it's trauma, whether it's, mental health, whether it's physical health, whether it's feelings, emotions, depression, like anything. Maybe just stuff that you don't like about yourself. There's stuff that you don't like in your life. It's like we all have something that we carry with us. And I think being kind to someone is like the least we could do. Like when we're walking out of the house or even staying in the house or just interacting with people, it's like that's the least you can do for them today. If you can't do anything, if you can't give money to the homeless man, if you can't, volunteer extra time at work, if you can't do something physically, you could be kind. Like that's free. And I think it goes a long way because you don't know what people are struggling with. Like you don't know what people are going through. For example, my kindness. Like I'm kind to people naturally just because it comes natural to me. I don't know. I don't enjoy being like a rude person. It doesn't make me feel good. Mean girl energy doesn't make me feel good. And so I'm kind to people. And I get so many compliments and so much feedback for people who are quite literally fighting for their life in some way, shape, or form or another, whether it's their family member is sick or whether they're going through something or just struggling, like just going through things or they just had a bad day. I get so many compliments and so much feedback for people who said that I made their day just because I just was being kind, just was being myself. And so I think kindness goes a long way. And it really changes the energy as well. Even to yourself, being kind to yourself. I think there's a tendency, especially when you're in a healing process. I think you can fall into two categories of people who respond to positive reinforcement and people who respond to negative reinforcement. Sometimes you need to have that like ruthless, that tough love type of energy when you're dealing with yourself. And only you know if you're that way. I would cry. I'm a little crybaby. I'm a Pisces, water sign. I can't talk to myself in that way. I have to talk to myself in nice ways only, or we're not getting anything done. Like nothing is happening. So I can't argue. I can't go back and forth with myself. I don't need the tough love. I need, let me give you a hug. Have you had water? Have you eaten today? What are we going to talk about in our journal? That's what I need. I know I function and I thrive with positive reinforcement. Some people the other way, like they need to be told that like they can do better than that, that they're worthless, is that the best that they can do, and that everyone else is doing better than them. Or if they don't get it together, then they're going to be in last place. Some people respond to that kind of thing. And if that's what you respond to each his own. Um, but tangent to say that being kind to yourself is also very important. The words that you say and speak to yourself is also very important. And I think that that echoes in how you treat other people. Because if you are consistently used to, again, using myself as an example, I'm used to talking to myself in a kind way because that's how I respond to getting things done. And so naturally, I think I respond to other people that way. And I think if you naturally talk to yourself in a mean or harsh or rude way, it gets kind of difficult to like flip that now that you're talking to people because it's like that's the internal monologue that's going on in your head. That's the internal voice. That's what it sounds like. And it's almost like you'd have to be an expert at code switching every time you talk to yourself versus other people. So I think the kinder you are to yourself, the more grace you give yourself, the more grace you're willing to give other people. And that's another thing with grace. I was reflecting on grace last night actually, and I was just like, I was just so grateful. One, grateful for Grace, my neighbor, collaborator. I'm so grateful for her because what are the odds? It's that thing where it's just like synchronicities. Like, what are the odds that I would move in somewhere, that I would meet someone named Grace, and then we begin collaborating on a project? Like, that's just so crazy. And then so I was reflecting on that because I was speaking with her and I was just reflecting on how much gratitude I have that I know her, that I met her, that I was neighbors with her. And then I was reflecting on grace in itself. Like grace is such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing because, and if we're relating it, I'm relating it to biblical grace. That's kind of the best way that I can interpret it. But you can just give grace in general, like having mercy. I would relate it to that, having mercy. And it's just so beautiful because oftentimes it's not deserved. It's not deserved, and you didn't do anything to get it. It's just like a free gift, a gift of grace. Like a divine like reset, a pass, if you will. Like whatever you need grace for, you can take it and you can give it. And if you do believe in God or you do read the Bible, you see that theme throughout time and time again. And it's often given to people who don't deserve it and people who I think least expect it as well. And that's also why it's a gift. And I think it's a gift to give people grace, especially in your life. Um, through many things. You can give people grace through forgiveness. You can give people grace through just like letting them off the hook. Like I know we're in this age where everyone has like high standards and you're raising the bar of what you will and won't tolerate. And that's good. That's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. But at the end of the day, we are only human. And I think a lot of people could benefit from receiving more grace and giving more grace in this experience that we're having like in life because you just don't know, like you just don't know. People be so quick to like block people or cut people off, and it's like you're not taking everything into consideration. And granted, we don't need to if you're done with something or someone, then you're done. You don't have to, take their upbringing or childhood trauma or their mental health issues. Like you don't have to give all the excuses, or you don't have to accept everything. We don't have to accept everything. But I think we're moving into a space where it's like we're not tolerant of anything. Like if someone doesn't text us back, if someone doesn't talk to us in the way that we would like to be talked to. And it's tricky because it's like, yes, set those boundaries and set those standards for yourself. But at the end of the day, like, we are only human. Like, we are only human beings. Like, we're not going to get it right 100% of the time. We probably won't get it right 50% of the time. And it's like, are you going to throw a friendship away because of that? Relationships are a little different. Tolerate what you don't tolerate, what you don't want to tolerate. Like that's a different standard. But with friendships, with family relationships, and they're kind of the same thing, but I think relationships are a tiny bit different. But with friends, with family, with coworkers, it's like you can give people some grace. Like you can give people a little bit of grace. Like think about a time where you needed or wanted or begged for someone to show you grace and they just like didn't. And again, that was their choice, and that's their right to do that. But I think that could go a long way in someone's life, and you just never know. You just never know. So that's what I had to say about the card. And then this episode, we are going to be talking about silence. There's so many ways I could go with this. I think silence is very sacred, and silence is very golden in a world that is very loud, in a world that is riddled with distractions at every turn, and where everyone's trying to have the spotlight, where everyone's trying to get a word in, where everyone's trying to have a podcast, me included, and get their opinion and be relevant. Everyone is just trying to be relevant. Everyone's trying to show what they know, to prove themselves, to show their expertise. And as we should, if we're not here to grow and evolve and become more, regardless of what it is, just become more. Yeah, that's the point. That is the point. But it's almost too much. I just have a very, very, very deep appreciation for silence and for people who know how to be silent, because there's a time to talk and there's a time to be quiet. I don't think people have grasped that time to be quiet. Truly, truly, truly don't think that they have. And some people, for the life of them, I don't think they know how. Some people can't sit still. Some people can't be quiet. Blame your ADHD. I'm not saying that's not that. But at a certain point, you just need to shut up. Like at a certain point, just relax. Just relax. That's why I'm a big fan of meditation, because it quiets your mind. And when your mind is silent, when you have a little bit less chatter going on in your mind, you don't feel the need to talk as much. You don't have so many thoughts that need to be expressed. And if you do, you can observe them. You can observe your thoughts. You don't have to say everything you're thinking. You don't have to express yourself so much. And that's not to say we should stifle our expression. That's not to say that, we shouldn't say what's on our mind, but not all the time. Not all the time. You gotta leave room. You gotta leave room for a little mystery. You gotta leave room for a little bit of contemplation. Like, hmm. And just let it be that. Just let it be the hmm. That's interesting. And then you have your own little thoughts. Everyone doesn't need to hear about it. You don't got to hit up the group chat. You don't got to make a story about it. You don't got to make a video about it. Just sit in silence. Have a little bit of quiet time. Have a little bit of me time. And very powerful things happen in the silence, especially if you're spiritual, especially if you're religious. We know this. You can't hear God's voice in the roar of society. You can't hear God's voice even in your own voice. You have to be still. You have to get quiet. You have to get in your word. You have to go in that prayer closet, because God is not going to yell. God is not going to shout. God is not going to repeat himself. Maybe he will repeat himself if you are a little hard-headed. But it's that still small voice that can only be heard in the silence. And you'll only ever hear it if you are still enough, if you are still long enough to hear it. And it's very special and it's very sacred. And it's just an understated value of being silent. You can really hear yourself think. And sometimes that can just solve a lot of issues. Like, say, for example, if you're arguing, why can't I say that word? If you're arguing, if you're arguing with someone and things are getting heated, you're very emotional, your mind is running a million miles a minute, you're thinking about this time, past experiences, like you're just so frustrated, you're saying anything, you're yelling, you're talking over each other. Like, imagine if you were to just stay silent. One, to listen. And that's another thing. People can benefit from silence because it affords you the opportunity to actually listen to other people. How many times are you in a conversation and you don't even get to say the thing that you want to say in the conversation because the other person is not quiet long enough for you to finish a thought, for you to finish a sentence. And people are really bad with that. Call it short attention span, call it that's just the way I talk, talking over another. You made me think about something that I had to say and I wanted to say before I forgot. Call it whatever you want, but it's rude. First of all, it's rude. And it's just like inconsiderate. Like, we need to get back to being able to be quiet long enough to listen. Like, maybe I do know what you're going to say. Maybe you have told me this story before. Maybe I do know this. Maybe I did see that video already. Maybe I did learn about that on Google and I just had to put in my 2 cents about maybe, but you don't got to say it. Like, you don't always gotta say it. That's the thing. You don't always gotta say it. Just be quiet. Just be quiet sometimes. And like, observe. That's the thing. Observe your thoughts in the quiet. Observe how you feel. Is this uncomfortable? Am I uncomfortable being quiet for long periods of time? Why is that? Why do I feel the need to fill every silence with a word or laughter or a joke or gossip? Why do I feel the need to do that? And then we go in the healing piece, the mind piece, the spirit piece. It's like, why does it disturb my spirit to be in silence, to sit in quiet and not do anything? Because everybody, you can sit in quiet and scroll on your phone. You can sit in quiet and read a book. You can sit in the quiet and do a lot of things. But can you sit in the quiet and do nothing? That's the question. That's the question and the challenge. Can you sit in the quiet and do nothing? And for how long? I mean, some people don't like that. Like, maybe that's not your thing. But can you do it? I think if you can't do it, that's like, what's going on? What's going on? Because at the core of a lot of things, if we really want to get down to it, and I'm not a doctor, by any means. But if we really want to get down to the core of a lot of issues, of a lot of vices, of a lot of habits, of a lot of patterns, it's because people can't or won't or don't like to sit with themselves. So many toxic relationships, situationships could have been avoided completely had that person been okay being with themselves, silent or not, just being with yourself, drinking, smoking, vaping, drugs of any sort. And that's no like judgment or anything. I cannot judge at all. At all. Can't judge. Can and won't. But a lot of people partake in those activities because you don't want to be with yourself. You don't want to be with your sober self. Let's say that. Indulging in any mind altering, body altering, consciousness altering drug or substance or spirit or elixir. Yeah, we can say on the one hand you're doing it because you want to have fun, and I'm not knocking that. Like, been there, done that. Like, I'm not saying that's not fun. I think at a certain point, wherever you are in life, you start to redefine your definitions of fun. If going out and having a drink and smoking and doing drugs is fun for you and you're engaging in that and for that purpose, fine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if it's like almost like a compulsory action. Like you don't even know why you're like going out and drinking. Like there's not even an occasion. It's nobody's birthday. Like we're not celebrating a graduation. Like we're just going out. Like for the like eighth month now, just because. Like just because like it's like why are you doing that? Like why are you doing that? And everybody like I don't want to get into that, but I was saying that to say a lot of the times it's because you don't want to sit with yourself. You don't want to be alone in the house. You don't want to be, and you don't got to be in the house. Like you could go out and not like alter your mindset. You can go out and be sober, but a lot of people don't like being sober because you don't like sitting with yourself. You don't like being with yourself. And at the core of, I think those are the main two examples, but yeah, and I think the silence when you are comfortable just being quiet. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in like a meditative thing. Like meditation is not for everybody. I firmly believe that. But I do think everyone could benefit from quiet, even if it's just 5 minutes, like while you're drinking your coffee or while you're walking your dog. Like, can you be silent, not be on your phone, not have a podcast going, not have music going, just being, simply just being. Can you do that? Does that make you uncomfortable? Do you like that? Do you enjoy that? I find that I really enjoy that. That is my absolute favorite thing to do, actually, is sit in silence. And that may be super weird and not even always meditating for sure. I love to meditate, but like it doesn't even always have to be that. It's just like if I have a few minutes, like if I have a few minutes in my day where I don't have anything to do and I can just be and just sit and like turn my phone off. My phone's always on D&D anyway, but like turn my phone off, like and just be and just sit in the quiet and the silence. I would do it every day. I would do it every second of every day. It's just so good. I don't know. To me, it feels good when like the world just stops and you can just be in silence. And like, it's not really too much going on. It's kind of quiet. It feels like, especially if it's like in early in the morning or like late at night, it's a nice little vibe. But it might not be for everybody. So, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I will say I think the benefits are getting more comfortable with yourself, getting more comfortable being with yourself, being in your own presence, being in your own mind, like being within the crevices of your own mind and liking it. Liking it may be a stretch. Maybe you don't like it yet, but like, how would you know if you liked the inside of your mind if you never sat still long enough in the silence to see about it? To just see what's going on in here. Like what's going on within me. That's also why I really like journaling. It's a silent activity that I can do that helps me process and I can observe my thoughts without feeding into my thoughts, without going into the stories and the delusions and the what ifs and the future possibilities and the past possibilities. It's just like it allows you to observe everything. And so I encourage everyone to spend some time in silence. And also another point to being silent, I think just moving in silence. That's also very key. Like everything doesn't have to be so loud and so public and so on display. And if that's your personality, then that's fine. If that's how you thrive, like you love being in the spotlight, you love being in front of the camera, you love like commanding attention, that's all good, all well and good and fine. But I think there is like a subtle confidence that moving in silence brings you, especially if you're like working towards something, like you're working toward a goal or a dream or something. Like nothing beats those quiet moments, those silent moments where it's just you and God or you and you. There's nothing that beats that like quiet one-on-one building time. It's like we're in grind mode, like we're locked in. We're in this, we're doing this. And oftentimes that's me in the gym. Like it's not completely silent because I work out some music, but it's that same energy of like presence. At the core of it, it's presence. Being still, being quiet, moving in silence. It's like you're present with yourself. And that's very powerful. That's a very powerful place to be. So I think that was the last thing I wanted to say on that. But yeah, treat people with kindness and grace. Move in silence. Sit in silence. Hours in Silence by Drake. Very really good song. I hope we like Drake again. I don't think Drake is ever gonna be not liked. Rambling tangent. Um, but that is all I have until next time.